Life ain't luck, man. This is what life is. Life is hard work, life is faith, and life is grace. You just keep the faith and work really hard and then ask God for as much grace as he can give you. He gives you stuff you don't deserve. That's what you want out of life. Justice is when you get what you deserve. Mercy is when you don't get what you deserve. Grace is when you get what you don't deserve. I just want some grace. I want God to give me a house that I don't really deserve. See, that's the problem with people. They think they deserve something. No, you don't. I work really hard. Everybody work hard. You just need some grace, man. You just need God to give you something that you didn't even ask for. That's when life get real special for you. So you can want all you want, but if you line up with the will of God, what God has planned for you is way better than anything you could ever plan. That's how you get the life of your dreams, man. Give us this day our daily bread. Don't ask for nothing else. Quit worrying about tomorrow. When you worry about tomorrow, you're off into something you have no say-so in. You have no control. So why would you worry? By worrying does not add a single hour to a day. You'd be amazed what would happen to you if you quit tripping about tomorrow. Today is plenty.
Worry long enough, it'll drop you to your knees. Could reduce you to begging. I know how bad this one is. I used to have it bad. But I tell you what, my advice to you is do what I finally did. Give it up. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's worth it. And I discovered you could live the most incredible life free of worry. Not free of challenge, free of worry.
The Lord knows when is often an expression. I wanted to have more meaning than a casual American colloquialism. I wanted to point to the fact that the Lord knows when is my conviction. It is comforting to say the Lord knows when, especially when I don't. To rebuke the tendency to believe that our lives are chaotic. To know and to remind yourself that God has a plan and he has a schedule, he has a structure, gives comfort, whether he shares it with me or not. It's like children going on a ride and they're in the back seat of the car and they keep saying to you, "Are we there yet?" Yet they are comfortable to ride on the car because they know that their father or their mother has the wheel. I don't know whether we're at the end of suffering. I don't know whether we're at the end of sacrifice. Are we there yet? But I do know who holds the wheel. I'm not worried about where I am in the journey because I know before we got in the car, you had a plan, you had a map, you had a strategy, you had a timing, and I'm going to wait on you. It is possible to be going through a process of healing and know it's coming, but don't know when. God has a when. He's not making this up as he goes. He's not just responding to your moves, your attitudes, and the attacks of the enemy, the things your friends say about you. You are not at the mercy of your detractors, your haters. You are only at the mercy of the timing of God. And God knows when. I might not come forth today. I may not even come forth next week or next month. But when he has tried me, I shall come forth as pure gold. I know how the story ends. And every contaminant that would contaminate my worth or value will have burned off in the process, but not me. Gold don't burn, baby. It may melt, but it will never burn. So if God allows me to put me in the fire for a while, he's only trying to burn off those things that would weaken my value, and I shall come forth as pure gold. You shall be tried, but you're going to survive. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. God has a watch and a timer is on it, and it's already set. Everything is on schedule. I said nothing is chaotic. Everything is on schedule. Don't worry about your purpose. Worry about your season. Because when you get in your season, your purpose will be clear. God knows when. God knows how. God knows what. There are times you go through a season of mourning, a season of struggle. I've gone through seasons of weeping. Not a few minutes or an hour, seasons of weeping. God has a time already set aside. Didn't you hear the bell ring? Did you not hear that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning? Do you not know that God has a win? You don't know what God's gonna fight with, but I declare God's gonna get you out of this. You don't know who God's gonna use, but God's gonna get you out of this. And all of a sudden he began to turn everything around. In one moment, the weeping turned to laughter. And your tongue was singing. And all of a sudden, I am going to bless you so good that even the unbelievers are going to say the Lord have done great things for them.
You know, people they write books about success. And people kill me when they write about success, but they don't tell people about God. You're trying to be successful without God, you ain't gonna make it. You might make it a little way, but you can't stay there. You have to have faith, man. You don't believe in God? Go to hell. If you want to go to hell, I'm perfectly comfortable with that. Just don't drag me with you. I was interviewing this guy, he said, well, Steve, you're opposed, there's no heaven. Well, then I lived the best life I could and there's no heaven. You got a bigger problem. Pose it is. I don't believe God would burn us up. Well, why take a chance? You know the real reason I want to go to heaven? Because I want to see my mama.
I remember when I bought the home for my mother and she came. That was my first major goal. And as she went from room to room, looking at the house and saying, thank you, Lord. No one ever could have convinced me that this could have happened to me. She said, no one could have convinced me that day when I walked in that house and this lady was holding you and your brother. And she said, ma'am, I want you to promise me two things. She says, one, promise me that you won't separate them. She said, I promise I won't. I've never had children. I promise I won't separate them. And she said, promise me that you'll never tell him about who I am, because if my husband ever found out, he would kill me. And she said, as I held y'all in my arms, I never had any children of my own. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew with the help of God, I will do it. My mother had a dream of having children. She didn't know how she's going to do it. You're going to be just like that. Well, you don't know how you're going to make this happen, but you just feel within yourself some way, with the help of God, I'm going to make it happen. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. It's possible for you to live your dream. It's necessary that you associate with winners, that you are relentless, that you never give up. You've got to make it your personal business to make it happen. That it's hard, but you've got to say, I'm the one. But you know it's going to be hard, but find out what will make it worth it for you. The people that are living their dreams are the people that know that if it's going to happen, it's up to them. The people that are running after their dream know they're going to have hard times. They keep on running because they're saying within themselves, I'm the one. I'm the one. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, you got to be hungry.
The role of leadership is one called high intensity on personal development, on language, on vocabulary, on skills, on compassion, on strength, power, vigor. However, here's the refinement of leadership. Make this list. This is a good one. Leaders must be strong but not rude. Some people mistake rudeness for strength. We don't need rudeness, but we do need strength. Next, be kind but not weak. Some people mistake weakness for kindness. Nothing could be further from the truth. We don't need weakness, but we do need kindness. Kindness is not offering to carry somebody the rest of their life, but to show him how to develop the leg muscle so they can walk the rest of their life and stay with them till they learn it. That's kindness. Next, we must be thoughtful but not lazy. It is important to dream, as we found out earlier, but you don't want to be just a dreamer. You must use dreams as the incentive to become the person, to develop the skills, to pull them off someday. Check it off your list. Walk the high road. Next, leaders must learn to be bold but not a bully. Bold enough to seize the day, bold enough to seize the moment, seize the occasion, seize the opportunity. But we don't need anybody to throw their weight around. Serves no useful purpose. We don't need to bully people into compliance. Congress doesn't need to be a bully. It needs to be thoughtful, constructive, generous, but practical. Next, learn to be humble but not timid. Some people mistake timidity for humility. But here's the truth. Timidity is a disease. It's a malady. It can be cured, or it can be driven into such a small corner it doesn't dominate your life anymore, but you do have to work at it. One of the richest friends I got, I'm telling you, he was timid and shy. Now he's driven it into such a small corner. He's a mega millionaire. Humility we all need, because humility is a virtue. Timidity is a malady, but humility is the virtue. Next, be proud but not arrogant. This is the course in leadership everybody needs. Yes, school pride. Yes, community pride. Yes, family pride. Yes, team pride. Yes, personal pride, but not arrogance. Do you know the worst kind of arrogance? Arrogance from ignorance. That's the worst kind. If a guy's smart and arrogant, you can handle that. But if a guy's dumb and arrogant, I mean, that's too much. But we don't need arrogance. No matter how accomplished you become, resist the temptation to be arrogant. Resist the temptation to be lofty. Real life is among the people. Real life is in human experiences. Walk off into your ivory tower, you'll resent the rest of your life no matter how rich and mega accomplished you become. Resist all temptation to be arrogant. Here's the last one. Humor without folly. It's okay to be witty, but not silly. And only sophisticated people know the difference. Difference. Difference.
You must know what you're going after. You must know what you are going after. You can't live your life meandering around hoping you hit something, and whatever you hit, you say, that's what I was aiming at. You have to have a specific target in mind. Most people don't succeed at getting what they're going after because they don't take the time to research what they're going after. They ask for things and then see if they want them. But you have to be careful about that, because if you ask for something, you might get it. And before you start blabbing what all you want to see God do, you need to be sure that that's what you want to see happen in your life. Know what you're going after. Now you say amen to that, but there's very few people who live by that principle. Most people want everything they see somebody else with. They buy clothes that don't look good on them. They wear hairstyles that don't look good on them. They buy houses they can't afford because they're trying to keep up with somebody else. But if you really want to be a winner, if you really want to come off as successful, if you really want to be bright, only go after things that are meant for you to have. It will make you look successful. And what makes you look bright is when you pick your battles. There are some things that you don't fight because that's not your fight. You don't get into that thing. You don't pick those battles. You don't covet what you see somebody else fight down because they're anointed to fight that. They can do that. You might not be gifted to fight that area, and you don't want to covet somebody else's battle or covet somebody else's success. Covet, and the other word I want you to think about is the word envy, because envy is the attitude that you have about other people's success. When you become envious of other people's success, you fail to become everything that God would have you to be. And the quickest way to stop being envious of other people's success is to know that God has something for you, that everything in your life is preparing you for that thing, that there are in your life defining moments. This is a critical issue. There are in your life defining moments, moments that if you handle properly, they are pivotal points that change your life for a lifetime. It is at these moments that if you know what you're going after, everything that you went through before is justified in preparing you for these defining moments. When you come to the defining moments in your life, you can look at the other moments in your life and say, Lord, I wasn't happy about that when it happened, but I'm glad now that it happened. Because I realized that if I hadn't have gone through that, I wouldn't be ready for this. Everything you took me through before was preparing me for this moment, and now I'm ready to go after what God has promised me and receive it at all costs. Know what you're going after. Be clear about your direction. Don't wake up in the morning and see if something's going to happen. Wake up in the morning to make something happen. Get up out of the bed with an agenda. But people who get up like that, nothing does happen, and the days turn to weeks, and the weeks turn to months, and the months turn to years. Years of mediocrity is what causes people to be bitter. If you want to get around bitter and complaining people, get around people who are not seeing much activity. They're bitter, they're complaining, they're cynical, and they're jealous because nothing is happening. If you want to get around less gossip and less jealousy, get around successful, busy people. Because busy people don't have time to care what's going on in your life. I have no need to investigate what's going on in your life. I have so much going on in my own life that I'm not interested in what I heard that they said that you thought, that if I thought what you said that I didn't mean if you heard it. The only people who have time for that is people who are not doing anything. And they watch your life like it's a soap opera because they're living their life vicariously through you. What's going on in your life intrigues them because nothing is going on in their life. And if you want to stop that from happening to you, wake up in the bed and know what you're going after. Get up out of the bed with an agenda. When you have an agenda, you don't spend time worrying about how you feel because it doesn't make any difference how you feel. You woke up with something to do.
Setting goals. It can turn out to be a drama for your life. Here's what goals are. Your vision of the future. Your vision of the future. Now, there's two ways to face the future. One, with apprehension. Number two, with anticipation. Guess how most people face the future? With apprehension. Why? Major reason why. They don't have it well designed. They've left the design of their future to somebody else. And if you don't make plans of your own, guess what? You'll probably fall into someone else's plans. Guess what someone else may have planned for you? Not much. You got to make a list of this not much stuff. I'm telling you, people all their lives count on this not much list. If all of your negative relatives all turn positive, what'll that do for your future? Not much. If prices come down a little, what'll that do for your future? Not much. If the economy gets a little better, what'll that do for your future? Not much. If circumstances get a little better, what'll that do? Not much. If the weather gets a little better over the next few years, that'll do. Not much. I mean, you could go right down this whole scenario list. Most people all their lives, with their fingers crossed, count on this not much list. That's why 10 years from now, they'll be driving what they don't want to drive, living where they don't want to live, wearing what they don't want to wear, doing what they don't want to do, having what they don't want to have, maybe become what they didn't want to become. And it all starts by counting on something that's not going to count much. You say, well, then how can my life dramatically change? You got to count on yourself. And here's one of the things you got to count on. Your ability to design the future. It's called the promise. And the promise of the future, if you'll design it well, can have an awesome effect on your life. But if you face the future with apprehension, you'll take hesitant steps all day, uncertain steps all day. And if you take uncertain steps all day for 6 years, you can imagine how empty your life will be. We've got to help our kids with the promise of the future. Now here's what's connected to the promise, the price. The price to pay. But I'm telling you, the price is easy if the promise is clear. One of the better notes to make for today. The price is easy if the promise is clear and powerful. But the price seems almost too much to pay. Too much to get over. Too much to accomplish if the promise isn't clear. If the promise isn't powerful. I'm telling you, kids will pay the discipline if they can see the promise. One of our biggest challenges as parents in the 90s is to help our kids see the promise of the future. That's why I'm teaching financial independence. How to become wealthy and powerful and sophisticated and healthy and unique. All of the stuff kids would hope to go for. It's all possible. This is America. That's the promise of the future. The price, a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And I'm telling you, the kids will pay the price of the simple disciplines if they can see the promise of the future. But if they can't see, they don't want to pay. And the same is true of all of us. We will pay the most extraordinary disciplines if we can see the promise of the future, called setting goals. So I'm asking you to get a handle on the future. I'm asking you not to leave it to anyone else. Don't leave it to the company. Companies got their own goals. I'm asking you to set your own goals, your personal goals. Income goals and financial goals and health goals and spiritual goals. Where do you want to go and what do you want to do and what do you want to see and what do you want to be? That's it. Promise of the future. Design your own future. It's within your hands, your capacity to do so. Here's how simple now goal setting is. It's not mysterious. You don't have to anchor, you don't have to focus, you don't have to visualize. None of that stuff. Here's how simple goal setting is. Changed my life. Decide what you want and write it down. I mean, that's how profound this stuff is. Decide what you want and write it down. Make a list. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? What do you want to be? What do you want to have? What do you want to share? What projects would you like to support? What would you like to be known for? What skills would you like to learn? Some extraordinary things you'd like to do? Ordinary things you'd like to do? Right? Silly little things you'd like to do? Very important things you'd like to do? Decide on all that stuff and write it down, write it down, write it down. That's how simple this stuff is. And it's your own private list. If it's really private, on your list, put some stuff in code where nobody can understand it if this list fell into unfriendly hands. And simple things, whatever. Foolish things, doesn't matter. It's your list. I had a little revenge on my first list. Budget finance, who used to harass me. I got 2 or 3 payments behind. This one guy called incessant. Said, we're going to come get your car, drag it rear end up down the street in front of your neighbors. Put me down something fierce. When I met Shope, got my life straightened out, one of the first things on one of my lists was budget finance. And when I finally got the money, I needed a little drama in my life. Finally got the money to pay them all. I put it in small bills in a big brief. Walked into the budget finance office on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles. The guy who harassed me so often, his desk was about 3 back. I opened the door, walked in, right up to his desk, stood right in front of him, never said a word. He said, well, what are you doing here? Didn't say a word. I opened up this briefcase, dumped this pile of money all over it. Yes. I said, count it. It's all there. I'll never be back. Turned around, walked out, slammed the door. Now that might not be noble, but you got to try it at least one time. Pay off with a little drama. Got to check them off my list.